The governor of Akwa Ibom State, Udom Emmanuel, has responded to jabs thrown at him by the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who on Monday tackled the governor for supporting the presidential bid of Atiku Abubakar, the flag bearer of the People's Democratic Party.
Akwa Ibom, you will not suffer again. That boy will bring Atiku here. Where they call himself governor. Tell him enough is enough. Tell him enough is enough. He live in my backyard in Lagos. If not be because we be one, I will drive him home.
Well, Udom Emmanuel, in a swift response on Tuesday while addressing newly appointed state officials, said that Tinubu should focus on what he intends to do if elected president, rather than launch personal attacks on individuals, and that political campaigns should be addressing issues affecting the country and not attacks on individuals. Let's take a listen before we come back for a discussion.
When you leave what you can do for people, I'll be talking about other people, it means you don't have anything to offer people. And you know, like today, if I wanted to answer Asiwaju, I mean, he wouldn't carry the kind of insult that would have insulted him. I've given you international stadium. I've given all the respect. You are coming. He said that boy that brought Atiku here and called himself a governor. What an insult. In a whole state. And then our people were there clapping, other governors were there. What an insult. If you don't have anything to tell people, then you come and go. I also go to other states. If you watch our campaign, my principal had never spoken about any governor. My principal had never spoken about Asiwaju openly before. I don't want to answer him, but I will answer him one day. And he should forget, when Asiwaju came back from Nadeko, the first point he launched out to become a politician today was on my table in my office. I can tell you the exact amount that was given unto him. And today, the first person, coming to my state, I've given you all the cooperation, the stadium that I maintain, the airport you are landing. I'm the one maintaining the airport, not the federal government. I've never gotten the support from federal government by 1 naira before. I've applied for a free trade zone because of the MRO. Up to today, the federal government has not answered me. So I gave you everything. The apron you are packing, I'm the one that doing that. And Akwa Ibom people are just there watching him. I mean, come on, he's insulting 7.9 million people. I don't think there is any Akwa Ibom person that can get into Lagos. He's not even from Lagos. That can get to wherever he's coming from and then be insulting them, and then that Akwa Ibom person would have left that day.
I don't know what he means, but I don't have time to respond to Tinubu at this point. I mean, that was some serious... complete.
Yes, and was there, and he gave receipts as well.
Yes.
We love when this happens because we hear stories that we didn't know happen. Ensued. So, for instance, that he on his table gave Asiwaju money, post Nadeko, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think that and as he said rightly, coming to his state where he, the governor, had provided. We talked about Governor Wike earlier on, and even how River State he's not promoting River State as a multi-party state, whereby intimidating opposition parties. And here we have in Oyo, Akwa Ibom State, where Asiwaju went for his part of his campaign activities, and then spent time talking about the governor. This is not the first time. He's famously referred to the governor of Ogun State as Elei, and he's referred to other people in quite condescending words. And just echoing what the governor of Akwa Ibom State said, let him focus on the issues.
Absolutely.
It gives credence to what he said, that he doesn't have what to say to the people when he goes on campaign grounds to either insult others or dance or lift up or just make jests about other people. Let him talk about what he would do for Akwa Ibom, and let him begin to speak like the president of Nigeria, who would unite people with his words and not insult the opposition. Is this what we should expect if he becomes president, whereby we'll spend a considerable amount of time with his speeches talking about how this person did X, this person didn't do Y, and he's done it not just against other parties, but now even within his party members. We'll talk about that later.
Dr. Abati.
Okay, let's take the two one after the other. This saga, Tinubu versus Udom Emmanuel. Let's start with, the presidential candidate of the APC. He said that boy that hosted Atiku and calls himself governor. Well, man, it will not be fair. I know Udom Emmanuel was born maybe in 1966, so he's much younger than Asiwaju Tinubu. But Emmanuel has been chief financial officer of a bank. Emmanuel has been commissioner. Emmanuel has been governor. I mean, that he has become a man, even if he's a younger person. So I agree with the governor if he says that it's very insulting to just dismiss him like that. Another thing that Asiwaju Tinubu said was that he lived in my backyard in Lagos. Well, I think if we have the opportunity, we would like to ask Asiwaju to explain what it means to live in the backyard. Is he trying to suggest that Udom Emmanuel came to Lagos as a houseboy? Because the innuendo. No, wait. Let me finish. So if that is what he's suggesting, it will look like hate speech. And it will be most unfair. And we've been saying political campaigns should be devoid of hate speech. Number 3, Asiwaju Tinubu in the video that was played said, enough is enough. Well, enough is enough. I hope you know who owns the copyright.
Only one candidate, one person.
The enough is enough person in the grammar of politics in this 2023 is Wike. I hope Asiwaju Tinubu understands that copyright. Now let's go to Udom Emmanuel. Governor Udom Emmanuel did what he should do. I mean, we've been saying that there should be level playing field. Nobody should harass members of the opposition. And in his own case, he played a good host. He said, he made facilities available. He showed the guest of the state enough respect. Sheer civility. The expectation would be that, such a very nice host is shown due respect. As they say in common parlance, respect is reciprocal. So Asiwaju, having not observed that principle, has now forced the governor to respond in almost equal measure. And he too will still need to give us some clarifications. He said when Asiwaju came back from Nadeko, that the money he used to launch himself into politics was from his desk. So we need some clarification there. Is it that the governor at the time when he was maybe chief financial officer at Zenith Bank, or maybe when he was working in Diamond Bank, did he donate money to Asiwaju, or Asiwaju Tinubu came to the bank to collect his own money that is in the bank? If it's his own money that he came to collect, that should not be a big issue to play politics with. But he made a very strong point about campaign being based on principles. And he said his own principle doesn't go about abusing people, and that in his own party, they campaign based on principles. You can add to that based on issues. And that was why he ended by saying, if you come to a stage, if you don't have anything to say, then just wave at people or dance a little and go away. But to now use the opportunity to be abusing, a very nice host would be unfair. But in any case, we have the drama. It provides good entertainment. All of this, as I always say, will be resolved when the election is won and lost. And I hope after that, people will still have enough good relations, enough amity to be able to go beyond politics and relate, as human beings.
Absolutely. Rufai.
I mean, wow. It's amazing. At first, Governor Udom Emmanuel said he didn't want to say anything, but he said too much already. He destroyed the table totally. Please, I would like to beg candidates to please belittling people. They should stop belittling people. And I've sensed that in Nigerian society. Once people are older than the other people, they belittle them, they talk down on them and say, oh, look at that one, that small boy. No, nobody's a small boy. Governor Udom Emmanuel is a man. He's achieved a lot for himself. Not too many people become governor. But let us extrapolate the things he said. Dr. Abati, I second that motion of I would truly like to know how much even was exchanged and whose money was it. Was it Governor Emmanuel donating to the Tinubu 1999 aspiration? Where did that money come from? Was it personal money? People need to be able to make clarification on things like this because Nigerians deserve to know. We can't have a country where money exchange hands. Now, they themselves are now talking about this money and we can't ask questions. We should be able to ask questions. Secondly, this idea of somebody lives in my backyard, please, for the Upton time, let us stop this idea of somebody lives in my backyard. Nobody owns Lagos. Nobody made Lagos. Everybody can lay claim to Lagos. Lagos was a British crown colony from the late 1800s. And there'd been major developments in Lagos. Lagos had electricity as at the 1920s, even before most European cities. There's been a massive level of development in Lagos. Absolutely. And I've been doing something on my pages on social media, the history of Lagos, because a lot of people need to know that this Lagos you are seeing had emerged long ago. We had ordinances about Lagos where streets of the Lagos Island were mapped out. The reclamation of the land that is Ikoyi today was done in the 1920s. We had water works in Lagos, pipe-borne water, as at the 1920s, 1930s. This Victoria Island beach was set aside to be an area for recreation for British colonial officers as at the late 1800s, the 1890s. We had a currency union in Lagos. So please, let us stop this talk about Lagos and my backyard and anybody. No, I think we need to stop that conversation. And you know why I'm saying it? For the sake of the children that are just coming up that were not taught history.
Okay. All right. Well said.
And please, let us campaign cleanly and stop abusing people. This has to stop. Okay. But we need to get to the nitty-gritty of that money that exchange hands.
That's fine. We'll take another story.